Let's get right into it. Number 10. The Vitamin C Cold Shield. Imagine you're starting to feel that telltale tickle in the back of your throat, the one that whispers, prepare for 3 days of mouth breathing and Netflix. Your first instinct, driven by decades of frantic parental advice and clever marketing, is to grab a bottle of orange-flavored horse pills and start popping vitamin C like they're candy. You think you're building a glorious, impenetrable fortress around your immune system, but in reality, you're mostly just making your kidneys work overtime to produce some very expensive neon yellow urine. The idea that vitamin C can prevent a cold is one of the most successful marketing campaigns in human history, largely championed by Linus Pauling, a guy who won 2 Nobel Prizes but apparently decided that his golden years should be spent obsessing over the magical powers of ascorbic acid. Science, being the ultimate party pooper, has looked into this hundreds of times, and the results are consistently underwhelming. Unless you are an ultra-marathon runner in the Arctic or a professional skier, vitamin C does almost nothing to prevent you from catching a virus. Your body is a finely tuned machine, but it's not a sponge. It has a saturation point. Once you hit that limit, your digestive tract basically says, thanks but no thanks, and flushes the excess away. If you're already sick, taking a massive dose might shorten your cold by a few hours, maybe a day if you're lucky. But by the time you're sneezing, the invaders have already breached the walls and started setting up camp. You're essentially trying to prevent a house fire by spraying the ashes with a squirt gun. Basically, your immune system appreciates the gesture, but it's already busy losing the war. Number 9. The Multivitamin Safety Net. You wake up, eat a breakfast consisting of a lukewarm cup of coffee and a handful of stress, and then swallow a giant multicolored pill to balance things out. It's the ultimate nutritional insurance policy, right? You tell yourself that even if you eat nothing but beige processed carbs for the rest of the day, that one pill has your back. It's a comforting thought, like wearing a seatbelt while driving a car made of cardboard. The reality is that the multivitamin safety net is mostly a psychological security blanket designed to stop us from feeling guilty about our terrible lifestyle choices. For the vast majority of healthy adults, a daily multivitamin provides zero measurable benefit in terms of preventing heart disease, cancer, or cognitive decline. The problem is that vitamins are supposed to come from food, where they exist in a complex chemical dance with fiber, phytochemicals, and fats that help your body actually use them. When you isolate them into a dry, compressed pellet, your body often views them with the same confusion as a cat looking at a vacuum cleaner. It doesn't know what to do with the concentrated blast of nutrients, and without the accompanying food structures, many of them just pass right through you. Research suggests that people who take multivitamins aren't actually healthier. They just tend to be people who are already health conscious, creating a classic chicken or the egg scenario where the pill gets the credit for the kale's hard work. You're basically paying a monthly subscription fee to feel slightly better about your refusal to eat a salad. Number 8. Vitamin D and the more is better. Trap. We've all been told that because we spend our lives hunched over glowing rectangles in dark rooms, we are all tragically deficient in vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin. This has led to a cultural obsession where people take massive doses of D3, thinking they're curing everything from depression to brittle bones. While it's true that vitamin D is essential, there is a very weird and dark side to fat-soluble vitamins that the wellness influencers forget to mention. Unlike vitamin C, which you can pee out if you overdo it, vitamin D likes to hang out in your fat cells and linger like that one guest who won't leave your party at 3 a.m. When you start megadosing vitamin D without a doctor's supervision, you aren't just getting extra healthy. You're potentially inviting a condition called hypercalcemia to the party. This is when your body gets so enthusiastic about absorbing calcium, thanks to the vitamin D, that it starts stashing it in places it doesn't belong, like your kidneys, your heart, and your blood vessels. Instead of having strong bones, you end up with calcified soft tissues, which is a fancy way of saying your internal organs are slowly turning into decorative rocks. It's a classic case of your body being too good at its job because you gave it too much raw material. You're trying to build a patio and ended up burying your entire house in concrete. In short, your bones might be sturdy, but your arteries are now as flexible as a frozen garden hose. Number 7. The natural equals safe delusion. There's a very specific type of logic that humans love to use. If it comes from a plant or is labeled natural, it must be inherently harmless. We apply this to vitamins with a reckless abandon that we would never apply to, say, nightshade or grizzly bears. The supplement industry leans hard into this, using green labels and pictures of sun-drenched orchards to convince you that their laboratory-synthesized powder is just concentrated nature. This leads people to believe that they can take as much as they want because you can't have too much of a good thing. Unfortunately, biology doesn't care about your philosophy. Vitamins are potent chemical compounds. When you take them in supplement form, you are often consuming doses that are physically impossible to get from a normal diet. To get the amount of vitamin E found in some high-dose supplements, you'd have to eat several pounds of sunflower seeds in one sitting, something your jaw and your dignity would never allow. When you force these massive amounts into your system, you're not supporting your biology, you're hijacking it. High doses of vitamin E have actually been linked to an increased risk of bleeding and even certain types of cancer in some studies. Your body is a delicate ecosystem of chemical reactions, and dumping a bucket of natural chemicals into it is about as helpful as trying to fix a Swiss watch with a sledgehammer. You're not a garden. You're a complex biochemical reactor that doesn't appreciate your amateur chemistry experiments. Number 6. B12 for instant energy. If you've ever walked into a health store and felt a bit sluggish, someone has probably tried to sell you a B12 energy shot or a sublingual tablet that promises to turn you into a human lightning bolt. The myth here is that B12 is like liquid caffeine, a direct fuel source that kickstarts your metabolism and cures your Monday morning blues. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of how cellular respiration works. B12 doesn't provide energy. It's just a tiny cog in the massive, complex machine that converts the food you eat into ATP. If your machine already has enough cogs, adding 50 more doesn't make it run faster. It just leaves a bunch of extra cogs rattling around on the floor. Unless you have a legitimate deficiency, which is common among vegans, the elderly, or people with specific gut issues, taking extra B12 will do absolutely nothing for your energy levels. The rush people claim to feel is almost entirely the placebo effect or the fact that the B12 was delivered alongside a massive dose of caffeine in an energy drink. Your body is remarkably efficient at storing B12 in the liver. Most people have a 3 to 5 year supply tucked away just in case of an emergency. Taking a 5,000% daily value supplement is like trying to make your car go faster by overfilling the gas tank until it spills all over your shoes. You're not becoming the Energizer Bunny. You're just a regular person with a very expensive, very red-colored delusion. Number 5. The antioxidant shield against cancer. For years, we were told that free radicals are the villains of our internal story. Tiny molecular vandals that cause aging and cancer by smashing into our DNA. The heroes of this story are antioxidants, vitamins A, C, and E, which supposedly swoop in and neutralize these villains like a microscopic SWAT team. It sounds so logical and clean that we collectively decided to start gulping down antioxidant supplements as a way to live forever. However, the more scientists look into this, the more they realize that free radicals aren't just villains, they're actually part of your body's communication system. Your immune system even uses them to kill off invading bacteria and cancer cells. When you flood your system with high-dose antioxidant supplements, you might accidentally be protecting the very cancer cells you're trying to avoid. Multiple large-scale studies have had to be shut down early because the group taking the antioxidant supplements was actually developing cancer faster than the group taking the placebo. By neutralizing all the free radicals, you're essentially disarming your body's own security guards and giving the bad guys a safe place to grow. It turns out that the stress caused by a few free radicals actually makes your cells stronger and more resilient. You're trying to protect your body by wrapping it in bubble wrap, but you're actually just making it too weak to fight its own battles. Your cells are basically rotting in a padded cell of your own making. Number 4. Vitamin A for eagle vision. We've all been told since childhood that eating carrots will give us night vision, a myth propagated by British intelligence in World War II to hide the fact that they'd invented radar. While vitamin A is indeed necessary for your retinas to function, the idea that more vitamin A equals better vision is a complete fabrication. Your eyes need a specific amount to function, and once they have it, they're full. Taking extra vitamin A won't help you see in the dark, but it might make your skin turn a very concerning shade of orange, a condition called keratonemia that is both hilarious and a great way to lose friends. The darker side of the vitamin A myth is that it's another fat-soluble vitamin that can reach toxic levels quite easily. Because it's stored in the liver, excessive intake from supplements can lead to liver damage, bone thinning, and even birth defects if taken during pregnancy. There is a reason why explorers were warned never to eat polar bear liver. It contains so much vitamin A that it's literally lethal. While you probably aren't snacking on apex predators, the high-dose skin and eye supplements on the market can nudge you toward chronic toxicity over time. You're essentially trying to upgrade your eyeballs by pouring bleach into your binoculars. In the end, you won't see any better, but your liver will certainly be screaming for mercy. Number 3. The gummy vitamins are better than nothing. Lie gummy vitamins are the ultimate victory of marketing over common sense. They've successfully convinced adults that they can get their essential nutrients from something that has the texture and nutritional profile of a circus peanut. We tell ourselves that because they're vitamins, the sugar and gelatin don't count, and that they're a great way to ensure we get our nutrients even if we're picky eaters. In reality, gummy vitamins are a nightmare for stability and accuracy. Vitamins are notoriously finicky chemicals that don't like being boiled in sugar syrup and molded into the shape of a bear. Manufacturers often have to overspray gummies with vitamins because they degrade so quickly on the shelf, meaning you never actually know how much of anything you're getting. Even worse, they often lack essential minerals like iron because iron tastes like a rusty pipe and is impossible to mask with artificial strawberry flavor. So you're getting a hit of sugar, a questionable amount of vitamin C, and absolutely none of the minerals your body actually needs. It's nutrition for people who want the participation trophy of health without actually doing any of the work. You're basically eating candy and calling it a medical intervention. It's like trying to build a skyscraper out of marshmallows and being surprised when it collapses during a light breeze. Number 2. Biotin for Rapunzel hair. If you look at any hair, skin, and nails supplement, the star of the show is always biotin, also known as vitamin B7. The marketing promises that it will turn your thinning mane into a glorious, flowing waterfall of strength and shine. Because of this, millions of people take massive doses of biotin every day. The problem is that biotin deficiency is incredibly rare because it's found in almost everything we eat, and our gut bacteria actually make it for us. Unless you are eating raw egg whites for every meal, which contains a protein that binds biotin and prevents absorption, you almost certainly have enough. Taking extra biotin doesn't make your hair grow faster or thicker if you're already at a normal level. It's like adding more water to a pool that's already full, it just spills over the sides. But the real danger isn't to your hair, it's to your medical tests. High levels of biotin in your blood can catastrophically interfere with lab results, including tests for heart attacks and thyroid function. There have been documented cases of doctors missing a heart attack because the patient's biotin supplement made their lab results look perfectly normal. You're literally risking a misdiagnosis for the sake of a hair growth promise that isn't even working. Your vanity is effectively gaslighting your cardiologist. Your hair looks the same, but your internal warning systems are now singing show tunes instead of sounding the alarm. Number 1. The vitamin deficiency epidemic myth. The biggest, most pervasive lie of all is that we are all suffering from a hidden hunger or a massive vitamin deficiency epidemic that can only be solved by a cupboard full of plastic bottles. We are told that our soil is depleted, our food is dead, and our bodies are starving for micronutrients. This creates a state of low-level health anxiety that makes us easy targets for the billion-dollar supplement industry. While certain populations, the elderly, pregnant women, or those with specific medical conditions, do need supplementation, the average person eating a reasonably varied diet in a developed nation is not deficient in anything. We've confused optimal levels with deficiency. The supplement industry has moved the goalposts so far that unless you have supraphysiological levels of every nutrient in your blood, they claim you're at risk. It's a brilliant business model. Create a problem that doesn't exist and then sell the expensive, unnecessary solution. We are the most overfed and oversupplemented population in human history, yet we've never been more worried about our vitamin K2 levels. The truth is, your body is incredibly good at extracting what it needs from the food you eat, provided you actually eat food and not just edible glass-covered shapes. By obsessing over these pills, you're ignoring the much larger factors of health like sleep, movement, and not being a ball of stress 24/7. You're focusing on the decorative trim of a house that's currently on fire. Basically, you're buying a gold-plated faucet for a bathroom that doesn't have any plumbing. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.